I'm showing off my grill. Every time I hear that ringtone, she asking when I'm coming home. Tripping cause the soldier gone. Girl, I don't see nothing wrong. You can kiss me through the phone if you start to feel alone. Relax your mind and play this song. My thumbs are sore from texting you. I can't wait till I'm next to you. I'm sorry if I'm stressing you. It's hard seeing less of you. I'm blessing you. Soon as my plane touches down and my forces touch the ground, best believe it's going down. Do you like the way that sound? Girl, that's only the beginning. Every second that we spinning is a second you'll be grinning. Grace to you, family. This is Love and Marriage Part 2. First of all, before we even get into it, I just want to tell everybody that sowed a seed to us, thank you. And I mean that from the bottom of our heart, my heart, our heart. We're currently upgrading everything. I ask that people continue to give. I want to thank everybody that's been sharing our videos. I want to thank everybody that's been liking our videos. Our heart is really just to be a blessing. Tonight, we just want to be as transparent and as organic as possible. We just want to be ourselves. Is that okay?
It's okay with me.
That's okay. Okay, so thank you for the seeds that you've been sowing. So I got a few questions. Like I said, we want to be organic. We want to flow. So these questions really come from my heart. All right?
Okay.
Okay. Why do women like bad boys?
Okay. I believe that speaking from experience and
Experience. Okay, what bad boy were you with?
The one I'm with now.
Okay. So what attracted you to a bad boy?
Well, what attracted me to you at that time was because every other boyfriend that I had ever had at that time were all good boys and good guys. They were the boyfriend that I had at the time, right before I met you, was off at college. So every other guy that I had ever talked to or dated were in school, met in church or something like that. So when I met you, it was a total world turned upside down.
You didn't have to say total like that.
Yeah, it was a total world turned upside down. I don't mean to label you, but
well, you are.
Oh well. Okay. I label myself. I will consider myself. I was a church girl.
Okay.
So all I really knew was church, home, and the little stuff that we could sneak and do in between school, after school, stuff like that. And when I met you, I had just graduated from high school, and so I didn't really know any of the fast lane stuff. Okay. I think y'all call it green.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll say that. So when I met you, being around you kind of introduced me to some things that I had never experienced before. And there was a rush that I think young women get, and I'm going to say this about myself, immature mindsets. I had an immature mindset, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I'll just say, me at the time, I thought that was the thing to do. I was young. So being with you introduced me to a lifestyle that I considered to be fun. I considered it to be on the edge. I really liked the bad boy because I considered you someone who went against all the rules, and that's just something that I dealt with. Something that that was my experience. That's all I can say.
Well,
that's all I can say.
You're really making me feel good about myself.
I mean, you should.
And I don't remember you being
today.
green. You may have been dark green, but you wasn't green. All I knew was church and going to church from home. You forgot I met you at the park. You forgot that, right?
Nothing wrong with the park.
So you didn't say church, park, and home. You just said church and home. Yeah, you trying to church yourself up. So you believe that your attraction to a bad boy, per se, was, just sum it up, basically
I think
immaturity?
It was immaturity, but I also think it was because I hadn't met anyone like you before, living that lifestyle before. So it was a thrill. That's what I say.
It was a thrill.
It
It
was
was
a
the
thrill.
rush.
Yeah.
Are we buying that answer?
It was a thrill.
Okay. Come on. What question you got for me?
Okay. Okay. Why do men have a different standard for forgiveness when it comes to infidelity?
There is no standard. Different standard. It's all in your mind.
Okay, you want me to make that question a little plainer?
No. I mean, why do men have a different standard
For forgiveness.
for forgiveness? I mean, I can't answer for all men, but just my opinion, my view, from my perspective. When you're a man, you consider your domain to be your domain, whether it's your home, whether it's your relationship, you consider it to be your domain. And when another man sneaks in and violates your domain, it makes you feel a certain way as a man. It really does. And so if another man could sneak into my domain and violate it, then whatever it is he violated was never really mine. It's sort of like having a car. And men, we love cars. I mean, it's just, metaphorically speaking, we love cars. Mm-hmm. So if someone breaks into your car, takes your stereo out the car, takes the speakers out the car, it's not the same. It's just not the same. Could you say pride has something to do with it? Ego has something to do with it. Yeah. Us being men and feeling like conquerors. It almost feels like the man that she cheated with, it feels like he got one up on you. That's just me. I can't speak for all men, but back when I had that mindset, it was like he had one up on me. Mm-hmm. He violated my domain. So, if he can have it, okay, I don't even want it anymore. But, truly, now that I'm mature, it's a forgiveness issue. Mm-hmm. It's like going back in the Bible and the woman that was caught in the act of adultery. Mm-hmm. When they brought her before Jesus, see, she was caught in the act of adultery. Mm-hmm. They brought her before Jesus, but they didn't bring the man that she got caught in adultery with. Mm-hmm. So this is nothing new. But Jesus said something along the lines of he who is without sin cast the first stone, mm-hmm. which was powerful. So they all began to examine themselves, and the men that wanted to stone her, they all turned and walked away. Mm-hmm. So now I really have revelation of what forgiveness is because of the Bible, because of the scripture. Mm-hmm. And the Bible says, forgive me of my sins as I forgive those that have sinned against me. Mm-hmm. So what happens is, how is it that you're asking God for forgiveness, but you won't forgive anyone? Yeah. How is it that you're asking God for mercy, but you won't show anyone mercy? Mm-hmm. So I think that it's an issue of forgiveness at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But, when as a man, you feel violated. You really do. You feel violated. You feel like, he got the best of me. Mm-hmm. And, I would tell anybody that's in a marriage right now, any man, to put the rock down, any woman, put the rock down. And if you feel that your marriage is worth salvaging, get back together. The Bible says, how can two walk together except they agree? Mm-hmm. Get back together and seek some counseling. Mm-hmm. My wife will tell you I love marriages. Mm-hmm. I'm on Facebook all the time, and I love looking at the marriage club, to the point she's asking me, why do you keep looking at that? I just love marriages. God has just given me a heart for marriages. Mm-hmm. But, is there a double standard? Yes. Yeah. Do we respond different to infidelity? Yes. But, we have to be more forgiving, and that's easier said than done. Mm-hmm. It really is, because, it's easy to say it when you're not connected to the emotion that goes with it. But mm-hmm. I would encourage anybody that if your marriage is worth saving, save it, man. Get some counseling. God is a healer. And, just like that woman I was talking about in the Bible that got caught in the act of adultery. Mm-hmm. Jesus forgave her for her sin. Yeah. So God will forgive you for adultery, but Is there a double standard? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What you got now? Is it on me?
It's your turn.
Okay. Let me see. What do I want to ask you? You know what? I'm going to go away from the cards.
Okay.
Make this organic.
I think we'll go on that show. Okay.
Okay, let me ask you this. So, when God began to change me, transform me, when I got saved for real, why is it that you didn't know if you really want to still be in a relationship with me?
Okay. Because at that time, I thought I was saved. I wasn't saved. I thought I was saved.
Right.
And my prayer to God was, can you please, Lord, just change him, make him stop doing the things that you were doing that were affecting me and hurting me. And that was my prayer. So I began to pray, Lord, just save him. You know, I need you to save him. And a lot of times when I look back, that prayer asking God to save you, I was only looking at the things that God could change.
What benefited you?
That about you that would benefit
the relationship.
me. That's correct. So you pray that prayer, but when God hears that, and when God's working on an individual and he's transforming your life and saving you, he's not just saving you so you could be good to your wife. He's saving you so you could become saved for him, so you could live a life for him. So when we're praying that prayer, what we don't understand is God is making that person become have a relationship with him to where God now becomes number one in that person's life.
That's right. But see, God being number one in my life benefits you.
It benefits me, but when you're looking at it from the standpoint that I was in, then you don't look at it like that. You just look at it like the things that he's doing that's hurting me. And so what happened was when God began to change you and began to transform your life, you stopped doing the things that were hurting me, but then a lot of things that I wanted you to keep doing, you begin to change too. Because you begin to have your relationship with God, you begin to put some things away. And then in the state that I was in, like I said, I thought I was saved. The state that I was in, you became boring to me. You know, okay, he doesn't cheat on me no more, or he doesn't go to the club, or come home late, but he don't drink with us. Yeah. He don't smoke with us. He don't, know.
So you wanted me to have God, but you didn't want God to have me.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. I wanted you to have God, so you wouldn't hurt me.
Right.
But when God began to have you became somebody totally different, and that's why it says you are being made a new creature, because you were somebody that I didn't know.
But you benefit from my relationship.
But you don't see it that way.
I know, but you benefit from my relationship with God, because
that's the only benefit.
Right.
The truth of the matter is that's the only benefit. When I'm secure, when I'm assured that God is first in your life and you're committed to him above all else, there's no other way you can hurt his daughter.
Right.
But we don't see it like that.
But that's what I'm saying. You benefit from my relationship with Christ, because now there's somebody I'm accountable to.
Yeah.
For the way that I treat you.
Yeah.
So you benefit from that. You know, your brother's not holding me accountable. Your father's not holding me accountable. But God is holding me accountable.
That's right.
To the way I treat you. And then on top of that, he gave me an entire book to teach me how to love you. Because sometimes as men, we get lust and love mixed up. Yeah. And I didn't want to go into marriage with my own. I went into marriage with my own definition of love. Yeah. But as I begin to read the word and I begin to experience his love, I learned how to love you, and I'm still learning how to love you. But I thought that was good. So what I'm getting from what you're saying is that some women just want men to have godly principles, but not God to have their man.
And the thing about marriage is God's idea. If you want godly results, you got to do it God's way.
You got to do it his way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. what advice would you give a young couple or a new couple that is considering getting married?
If I could tell a new couple one thing to do if they're considering getting married, I would say seek Christian counseling.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Godly
Godly
counseling. You know, one thing about counseling, when we went through counseling, that I thought was very beneficial, counseling asked questions. They asked questions that brought certain things to the surface that I would have never thought about. Mm-hmm. So that's good.
And one thing that blessed me from my marriage counseling that I hold on to today, that our leaders taught us, was the need factor.
Right.
Yeah, you need me, I need you.
Right.
And we need God.
Right.
You know, and if you stick to those three things, which is something that I've held on to for 15 years, you won't go wrong.
You won't go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. You got any more questions for me?
Let me see.
You done already made me a bad boy.
No, that was you're a new creature in Christ.
That's right.
Okay, I got a good one. Okay, why did it take you so long to ask me to marry you? And before you answer that, I want to give the disclaimer. I was tired of going to wedding after wedding. I was tired of being in wedding after wedding. My closet was full of bridesmaids' dresses. Why did it take you so long to ask me?
Oh, I mean, fear of the unknown. You know, I could really be transparent and share some things, but I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with it. And it was more so not anything that had. It wasn't about you. It was more or less about me. I think it was going into the unknown because, you know, I'm gonna give a piece of it. As a man going into marriage, you know, or considering marriage, I'm like, what if I wake up one morning and I'm tired of her and I don't want to be with her anymore, you know? And I think I was basing that on boyfriend and girlfriend. I really didn't understand what marriage was when I got into it. And I run into a lot of men and they be considering getting married, and you know, their number one fear, what if one morning I wake up and I don't want to be with her anymore? You know, because it's something about being married. It ain't something about married is to death do us part. And I think the commitment at times, you know, it puts a fear in men. You know, it puts a fear in men. So I believe it was a little fear of that. Wondering, was I ready for it? Never having a example of a marriage before me, not knowing what to do, you know, but it was never a question of love. It was never a question of love. So, you know, I really don't have a good answer, but I will say that it took God to tell me that, you know, you were the one. And so when he told me that you were the one, I put my trust in him. And out of everything I've ever heard God speak to me in the prophetic or what have you, that is probably the most valuable thing that I've ever heard him say, was to tell me that you are the right one. Because now I know down the road that you were the right one. So, you know, I thank him that I obeyed his voice. Like I said, it was never a lack of love. I really can't give a good answer of why it took so long. I mean, it was just stepping into the unknown, man. It really was stepping into the unknown, and God was developing me, and God was, you know, trying to get me to a certain place. But, you know, best decision I ever made. Best decision I ever made in life. Yeah, best decision I ever made in life.
Okay. What's the next one? What's the next one? You making me blush.
I don't have any more questions. I really don't. You got anything?
No, I think that's it.
And I'm all out of answers anyway. But I like to thank everyone for tuning in, and like I say, thank you to everybody that sowed a seed, man. It was a blessing. I pray that something was said here that blessed you, that blessed your spirit. If you have anything, any other questions you want to ask us, you can just, you know, I ask that you don't write them in the comments, but that you just inbox us, and we'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. Until then, I love you.
I love you.
We love you. Grace,
Grace
to you.
Don't wanna lose you and me to ministry.
Man, these dudes is cool, but I miss your touch. It's the smell of your perfume when you're in the room. I've been thinking about you lately, how I miss our time. Facebooking all through your photos, reminiscing online, but it's the